parting of the ways.
Definitely. Well, at least we found another job in the greenhouse undercover. And this is all about fertilisers. And in fact, Chris was talking quite a bit about fertilisers in his rose garden. I'm going to have a little bit of an observation here and looking at 6 different fertilisers. So when you do an observation, you obviously need a control. So my first one is just the compost with no added fertiliser. And the plant that I'm using, it's all about trying to produce flowers, so I'm going for the #1 bedding plant, and that is a Begonia. The variety is Illumination Apricot Shades. And you know, it is the #1 bedding plant because whatever the weather in the summer, it normally does really well for us. So my fertilisers, what have I got? These two, I tend to call these the general purpose fertilisers that we tend to put in the vegetable patch on the borders. The first one just contains nitrogen, potassium and phosphorus. So we've got equal amounts in that one. Moving on, another one that I like to recommend to people is the one that contains NPK, but also some of the trace elements. So it'll be interesting to see, do those trace elements help with the flowering? Then these two, you very often see these being sold to encourage you to use them for containers, hanging baskets, because these are controlled release fertilisers. In other words, when the temperature starts to warm up, and I hope it does soon, then that starts to release the fertiliser and you only need 1 application. I should also say that we've got equal amounts in these troughs, so about 15 grams to 5 litres of compost. And my last two, slightly more specialised. This one's totally organic, and Chris was mentioning about seaweed. So this has got the NPK, and the seaweed is also producing those trace elements. And we've got some of the mycorrhizal fungi. And the final one, this one is very high in potassium, which should encourage flowers. But interesting technology, because when you look at the grains there, it's meant to release quite quickly, but also slowly. And the claim to fame with this one is that it might produce as much as 400% more flowers. Be interesting to see.